Imagine sleeping with your father's wife, not once, but again and again, until her belly began to swell with the weight of your sin. Should this taboo be exposed or concealed? To conceal it brings shame, and to expose it begets reproach. This is the story of Okafor, who slept with his stepmother, and now she is pregnant. Before we dive into this tale of sin and forbidden fruit, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Let your voice be heard, for even silence holds judgment. In OMONI village, where every hut has a story and every shadow its secret, one story silenced the wind, the sin of Okafor sleeping with his stepmother. There are abominations the earth cannot swallow, and taboos that echo louder than drums in the spirit world. Okafor was the son of Chief Maduka, a son carved in the image of strength, with shoulders broad as the yam barns after harvest. Yet beneath that strength lay a fire that burned where it should never have burned. It was not the fire of ambition, nor the warmth of love. It was a dark hunger, creeping like a python into forbidden corners. Okafor had returned from the city, and the village welcomed him with open arms. Women peeked from behind their wrappers, remembering the boy who once ran barefoot through the fields. But one woman stared too long. It was Adama, his stepmother, the woman his father married after Okafor's mother died, giving birth to him. Her eyes carried a quiet fire, as though choreographed by seductive embargo. She's beautiful in a way that makes even the sun melt like wax. Both time and people pause to admire her beauty. Her gaze is haunting, lost in thought, as if haunted by her own desires. At first, Okafor's gaze lingered only by accident, the way a boy notices the sway of a new goat in the compound. But soon, the accident became deliberate. He noticed how her wrapper clung to her hips when she pounded yam, how her laughter trembled when their eyes met, how the curves around her waist sometimes sang when she bent to sweep the compound. That fateful night, the moon had hidden its face behind the cloud, and the earth casted a heavy rainfall against the village like a dancing spirit. Adama, watched by the whispering rain, slipped into Okafor's room. Her eyes burned like candles, as though bound by a spell woven of silk and sin. "Your father will not return till the full moon, and I'm so cold that I can't sleep alone tonight," she murmured, her voice like warm palm wine. And that night, the line between woman and stepmother, between desire and abomination, was crossed. She was dressed not in her usual simple wrap, but in a beautiful seduction that Okafor found impossible to resist. He remembered only the fire in his veins and the burning desire within. Her hips swayed like music no man could forget, and he forgot her identity, his father's wife. Her lips came first, and then they kissed. It wasn't a kiss made for the lips, it was made for the soul. His lips met hers with reverence and fire, slow and deep, as if memorizing the taste of her sighs. She melted quite literally beneath him. Her back arched as he whispered verses against her throat, her shoulder, her thighs. Like her body was a story he was born to read. He worshipped every inch of her, the curve of her hips, the arch of her foot, the pulse beating wild in her neck. His tongue danced secrets between her thighs until she came undone like a ribbon. He entered her with a groan so deep it sounded like the village itself sighed. She wrapped around him like fire around dry wood, consuming, greedy, lost in him. They moved like forbidden verses, each touch a stanza, each sigh a prayer to a god they knew would not listen. Time lost meaning. There was only the rhythm, the ache, the velvet darkness of his thrusts, deeper and deeper, until she wasn't sure if she was crying or praying. He made love like it was his last night on earth. Okafor slept with Adama again and again like it was a righteous sin. Nights stretched into weeks and weeks into moons. Each time they told themselves it would be the last. Each time they failed. It was Adama who first noticed the change, the heaviness in her breasts, the morning sickness that came like a thief at dawn, the missed moon cycles. At first she kept silent, convincing herself it was a passing illness. But the truth grew inside her, small and relentless, until her belly began to rise like the yam mounds after planting. In the marketplace, women began to whisper, not about him, not yet, but about Adama. "Chief Maduka's wife is finally taken in," they said, smiling. The gods have answered her prayers. If only they knew. Months after the kingdom's warriors had gone to defend their borders, Chief Maduka came back, his chest broad with victory, and his heart full of joy learning of his wife's pregnancy. The drums rolled, the women ululated, and the men beat their oji sticks on the ground in salute. He walked at the head of his warriors, their bodies streaked with camwood and their eyes bright with pride. Adama, his wife, stood at the edge of the crowd in her red wrapper. She clapped with the others, smiling faintly, but her eyes did not dance as they once did when she looked at her husband. That night, with the moon spilling silver over their thatched roof, Chief Maduka reached for her. Months apart had left him hungry for her warmth, but when his hands found her waist, she stiffened, pulling away ever so slightly. It was a small movement, but it cut deeper than any sword he had faced in battle. "Why do you refrain from me?" he asked, his voice thick with longing and suspicion. "Chief Maduka, please, I cannot. Not tonight. I'm tired, my body. I cannot give it to you. I can't commit my body to quench your burning affection." Her words were a fragile whisper in the stillness of the hut. He stared at her, bewildered. In all their years, she had never denied him. The rejection was more than a wound, it was an insult. And in his warrior's mind, an insult needed explanation. Chief Maduka, curious and furious as to why his wife would deny him the pleasure of touching her, despite being pregnant for him. Such denial stung him more than any wound from battle. That very night, he walked through the darkness to the shrine of Okafor, the high priest. The king of spirits, the old priest's voice was low and trembling, as he cast the cowries and looked into the fire. "A shadow sleeps in your house," Okafor said. "A seed not yours grows in your wife's womb. Your son, Okafor, has eaten the forbidden fruit. The gods say a man has eaten the food of his father's pot, and now the pot is heavy with the child of sin." The words fell heavy. "Okafor, my own blood?" Chief Maduka roared, his voice breaking the stillness of the night. But Okonquo's eyes held no mercy. "The womb does not lie. Your son's hands have done what no stranger would dare. The spirits have watched your household. A river flows there, a river whose waters are blackened with abomination. It must be revealed, or it will drown you all. A dark secret lurks beneath the roof that shelters you. An unwanted seed has taken root, bearing an unbearable truth. Though a child may shut his eyes to sleep, the womb reveals its story." Maduka's heart boiled. The betrayal was double-edged, his son's lust, his wife's shame. That night he stormed back home, his voice like thunder as he cursed Okafor, until the 4th generation. He tore his garments, scattering the threads like the shreds of his dignity. The next day, Okafor and Adama were summoned before the village square, shamed and in reproach. The sky darkened, though the moon was full. The village square filled with voices, angry, mournful, confused. Adama was chained alongside him, her face swollen with shame. Okafor, stripped of his pride, barefoot and in chains, both hand and legs wearing a tattered wrapper, staggered beneath the weight of a clay pot filled with river water and ash. Okafor the high priest said, "If the child is born, it will surely die. It's a curse in human flesh and should never be allowed to come out." Maduka's rage had burned to ash, leaving only a deep, choking grief. Not able to bear the weight of their shame anymore, stood up in rage to end Okafor with his sword, fell to his feet and died. He was gone, dead of heartbreak before the sun could warm the earth. Okafor was forever banished from Umudim village, to wander with his shame and let the spirits decide when his punishment will end. And so he wandered, a man without a village, a name cursed in the wind, carrying the weight of a bed he should never have touched. Adama was taken to the women's quarters and forced to drink a mixture of bitter roots and ashes to cleanse her womb. But as the portion burned through her, the child inside kicked harder than ever, as if defying the gods. By morning, the red earth beneath her told the end of the story. And the unborn child? It kicked again, once more again, and then fell still. Adama followed soon after, her breath leaving her like a whisper lost to the wind. Even now, the elders say that the curse of Chief Maduka's house walks in shadows, and whenever the moon is full and the night feels heavier than it should, Some swear they hear the sound of a clay pot breaking, somewhere far away, yet too close for comfort. What are your thoughts on Okafor sleeping with his stepmother? Is it a taboo or an abomination in your culture or opinion? What would you have done differently if you were in Okafor's position? Who do you believe suffered the most from this transgression? Okafor, Adama, or Chief Maduka? Moral of the story. In every land there are lines the heart must not cross. Passion may burn like fire, but when it strays into forbidden paths, it does not warm, it destroys. The hands that plant a seed in cursed soil will harvest only shame. In the heart of every man lies a line that must never be crossed. Desire without restraint is a fire that consumes not only the sinner, but also the innocent, the family, and the name they carry. A single moment of forbidden pleasure can plant a seed of ruin that grows for generations. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments section.